Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Home and Away, a podcast devoted to all things in and around the world of sport in Kansas City soccer. I am Drew Vanderplug, joined once again, as always, by my good friend Cody Welton. This week on the podcast, we have been somewhat apoplectic at the amount of news surrounding the Kansas City soccer scene over the last several weeks, so much so that we have created a draft that we talked, 3 hours about. Of course, there was some news that week.
Wait, was there a winner of that draft? I forgot.
I don't remember.
I thought somebody.
I don't remember.
I'll have to go check the Discord.
You might have to. I don't know. Do I have the ability to delete things from the Discord? I think I do. Anyway, we bemoaned the amount of news surrounding this team and surrounding things in general for us to discuss on the podcast. It's February. We have Daniel Shallowy days left until the season starts. And it was like, man, what we have really nothing to discuss.
We have DS10 days till the season starts and DS20 days, DS20 members of the roster. So
yeah, exactly. 4 of which are goalkeepers.
Right.
So we've been in this sort of weird place where you and I even discussed, do we do a podcast a couple times over the last couple of weeks, just because there's been little to discuss. And then Kansas City soccer, just because it can't be fucking normal, just unloads all the news, all the rumors, all of the things all at once. And so here we go again. And, hopefully we're not here for 2.5 hours trying to cover all of this detail. But the good news is there have been rumors. There are things happening. Sporting Kansas City is reportedly doing things. Reportedly doing things. We haven't to the note of several Discord members, there have been no official announcements yet. We have not had any of these attempted transactions confirmed as complete. But as you've noted, Cody, several times, David Lee likes to work in February. And he did not wait to get started once February started. It's a different kind of dry January than I'm familiar with, but we certainly experienced it as Sporting Kansas City fans this year, and February seems to be providing a little bit more fruit and intrigue, and so we have a lot of rumors to discuss regarding players, and these are not the types of rumors we've discussed in the past where agent throwing out name, these 3 teams might be interested, or stupid social media guy trying to get clicks. Robert Lewandowski could fit in Kansas City. No, like none of those were real, other than Cesarenga. That whole thing actually happened, but these are reports that seem to have more weight behind them. They're coming from much more reputable sources, and including one Tom Bogert. Tommy Scoops reporting on the team is a welcome sight for all of us. So there are legitimate things, it appears, that are happening with Sporting Kansas City, and it's not a moment too soon. Things are getting a little depressing.
Just a tad.
And to be fair, even if they signed all 3 of the players we're going to discuss tonight, they still would only have 23 players on the roster. It's not like all of a sudden our problems are solved, but it would be a nice step in a positive direction. So we do have a number of other things to discuss. The Sporting Kansas City played 2 preseason games, both of which were actually viewable by the public. So there's some information to glean. I want to be careful about how much we overemphasize that information, but it is some information to glean. They released the kit today. The 18th and Vine kit was released today. To generally, I think, positive reception. Certainly the 2 of us enjoyed it quite a bit and like it quite a bit. And it seems like the fans are mostly positive about that. Matt Doyle leaves MLS because MLS is fucking stupid. We'll get into that conversation. And
that entity is really trying to actively get me to not pay attention to anything that they do, like other than what my specific team does. Like, ew.
Yeah. I mean, for sure. And then the Current couldn't let Sporting Kansas City get through a week of news of their own, and decided to make the most out of nowhere absurd series of trades that anyone could have possibly imagined. So we've got a lot to discuss. So let's talk about these wonderful players that are rumored to be coming here. Let's begin with the first one that came out that probably got me the most excited of all of them. And I was trying to get you as excited as well because we both love a good defensive midfielder. We're gonna, at the end of this podcast, we're gonna pour one out for one of our favorite defensive midfielders leaving Kansas City, but we love a good central midfielder, defensive midfielder. Like that is kind of our general aesthetic. That is what we enjoy on this podcast. And Sporting Kansas City is rumored to be trying to sign one of those. Lasse Berg Johnsen. He's a defensive midfielder that plays for Malmo in Sweden currently. Malmo is a very noteworthy club that has won the Swedish league several times and often competes in European competitions. And Janssen has recently broken his way into the Norwegian national team as well, which is a very good European national team now. Like this team dominated their group in World Cup qualifying, and he played in several of those matches. So this guy's a no joke player, like a legitimate player. And it looks like we might be like possibly signing this guy. David Lee has discussed the fact that the team has a lot of flexibility with allocation money and such, and I've been very open with my math about how much of that exists, and it'd be nice to see them spending that on some quality players, and this looks like one. So I've posted some comp clips in the Discord. So if again, this is your weekly reminder to participate in the conversation, go to the Discord. Link is in the show notes. This is where we talk about a lot of the details related to some of this news as it comes across. But what were your thoughts when you took a look at this guy, like the profile as well as his playing style?
I thought he looked good. I take all YouTube comps with a complete grain of salt. And one of the things I texted you was that I really liked his passing range, but a lot of his passing highlights were coming without a lot of pressure. And so that is always, whenever you try and base your opinion off of highlights, that is so one of the things you have to really, really look at is context. And it's really easy to cherry pick, a handful of nice passes. And so, you had noted to me that you looked at some other game film and that it wasn't, he was actually a highly competent passer. It's not just cherry picking. And so the passes that he was making, I thought looked really good.
They cherry picked some nice ones. Don't get me wrong.
I'm sure they did. Absolutely.
Like it's a comp video, so of course. Yeah. But what I'm saying is like when I watched like some of the 10-minute versions of a highlight of a match, and you just see him doing just regular 6 things, he looks like not only like he belongs, but he's one of the better players on that team.
Right. And that's what the team needs. I mean, I think that I know that at least myself, I'm heavily biased towards having a very high quality player in that position, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a designated player, but it's truly for that position. It's about the player fit. It's not about how much money you spend or either on transfer fee or salary. And the right player makes everything tick. And what I texted you is that it's kind of that sort of force multiplier idea where if you get the right player playing at the base of your midfield, it makes the job of the defenders a lot easier. It makes the job of the attackers a lot easier. I think that from what we've seen so far in preseason, there seems to be a move towards having Manu Garcia play as part of a double pivot, and if that is the case, then you have to be like super selective about the kind of. Manu is such an interesting player in and of himself, and not necessarily a smooth fit for that role, as far as we can tell. That it really demands a very particular kind of player with a particular set of skills playing next to him to help provide cover, and it seems like this is a player who could do that while also providing a lot of high upside passing going forward as well. And so all indications are that this is the right kind of player that the team should be looking at. Whether this specific player is a home run or not, like, you never know, and so you always have to like consider that. But this is they're shopping in the right store. You know, they're shopping at the right price point. They're shopping in the right sort of talent level for this to be a super high quality signing.
Yeah, I don't want to use transfer market values as a primer at all times because those can vary fairly significantly. But this is, what a 3 or 4 million euro valued player. Like this is a guy that scouts are aware of and have seen. And I even did the football manager test on him and scouted him in a football manager save. And you can, like, again, similar deal. Like, he came across as a high level MLS player. In all of those circumstances. Again, that's not instructive to much of anything. Like, it's anecdotal evidence of it, honestly, and at best it's anecdotal. But I like the player I saw. I was joking. One of the comp videos I watched was comparing him to Ruben Neves and Hakan Çalhanoğlu, and I was like, okay, yes, please. Yes, please. Yeah. Obviously not of quite that talent level, but if that's the style of midfielder that we're talking about here, I'm all for that kind of thing. And he does, like, in the comp videos, you do see a lot of the ball switching and whatnot, but even if you just grab match highlights of any Malbo match, you can see him hitting that pass fairly regularly. Now,
the switch.
Yeah, the long switch, but also he can carpet 20 yards too. His passing eye is quite good, and he tries to split lines. Like, that is his vibe, is to do that. And as much as I like Manu, I don't think of him as that type of ball progressor. He is more of a carrier of the ball and more of a combination. He uses combinations and whatnot to find players in space. Like, Manu is a pass into space type of guy, right? He'll progress the ball by putting it out in front of a player that can run onto it. This guy, like Johnsen, is more like, I could sit deep in the pivot and send it 25 yards to somebody's feet straight through your midfield. Yeah. That is some cool shit that we just haven't had since Ilie, to be completely honest. Yep. And I think the promise of Nemanja Radja was supposed to be that type of player, and he wasn't that at all. And so to see Johnsen, and I think the other thing, and you're going to notice this as we talk about all the different players that are rumored here, the profile of them is the other thing that I'm really excited about. We're talking about 24 to 26-year-old players, right? Like, early prime players that are maybe past the point of, are they going to get that contract in the Premier League or a top team in La Liga or Italy? They got
overlooked. They've been overlooked in the gold rush, right? And they're late kind bloomers a little bit.
Right, not, exactly. But so they're at the age where if they were going to get that move to Juventus, like, it would have happened by now. But they're also still of high quality and can do a really good job in a league like MLS or at the high, and even still could do so at Marseille or something like that, right? Like, these are the types of places where they could go. But they have a ton of wick on the candle too, right? Like, these are early prime players that are at their physical peak for the most part, as well as being quality technically. And that is something that this team has just not been very successful at doing for a long time. And to a man, the types of players we see Sporting connected to are all in this kind of bracket. Right. And Lasse Berg Johnsen is another example of that. And so this is also a guy you can sign to a 3-year guaranteed deal where you're spreading his transfer fee out across that, so you can make it work as a TAM signing on the salary cap. But you don't care because at the end of that contract, he's going to be 28, 29, right? Yep. Not 31. Yeah. And I think that has just that's a huge difference to how this team has gone about this business in the past.
It is, and it makes squad building in both the medium term and long term a lot easier, right? You're not having to mortgage your future to keep guys around in the short term. You're not giving contracts that end when guys are in their mid-30s, because that's something that I think should really be avoided in most circumstances, right? You you don't have to look any further than my favorite Premier League team and the massive contracts that they handed out to players who are in their 30s already, and it can get you in really deep shit really quickly if you're not careful. And we've seen Sporting Kansas City make that mistake in the past, and so it is definitely refreshing to see them pursuing this profile of player for sure.
I'm trying not to get too excited about this one because this guy is the sort of platonic ideal of this defensive midfielder for me. Like I probably watched footage of him for 45 minutes and I was like, oh my God, like please, can we have something like this on our team?
Now remember, Drew, he's got to have somebody to pass the ball to. So
that's a secondary problem. We'll discuss where they're trying to do there here in a moment, but I texted you this. I think what's interesting with this tactical change that we've seen in the preseason games that we'll discuss a little bit later of Manu playing deeper and playing in this double pivot, the idea of having two elite ball progressors in central midfield at the same time. Like what? We're allowed to have that? We're allowed to have two of those on the same team?
Yeah.
Like it seems kind of weird. But the thing with Johnsen that I want to be careful about too is that he's not just a one-trick pony. He's not Ilie who needs the ball winner next to him, the ground covering guy in Roger Espinosa to be functional. I saw Johnsen make several like retreating tackles like in transition. And so this is a different player than, like I'm not going to say that, he's not going to outrun Calvin Harris, but he certainly has the ability to see those moments. And like the key thing with a lot of this play is like recognizing them, reacting to them in the right amount of time, and then being able to make a play on the ball. And he did that regularly and wasn't afraid to get into a duel, wasn't afraid to get into a tackle, could play through multiple player pressure, and have some, was able to maintain ball control during that time. So like, it's not, we've often, had situations where players were skilled and maybe were really elite at one or two things, but had significant gaps in other areas. This is not a guy that I feel like that's a problem. Maybe he's not, prime Xavi, but he's not, his distance between prime Xavi in all of the things in the heat map are about the same. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's not some sort of significant issue somewhere in his skill set. And that has been something that we've dealt with a lot in the past. And that's probably the thing that makes me the most excited about it is like, this is a 6. This is what a 6 looks like. Yeah. Most other teams have these players, and we have often had them with significant flaws. And I didn't see that in this guy. That was probably the most exciting part.
I think that really the most important thing sort of above and beyond any measurables is, if the double pivot is the way that this is going to go, and it's certainly looking like that's going to be the case, then it really comes down to how he pairs with Manu Garcia or whoever else is going to be playing in that position, and the rapport between players and is really important, and I think that. I don't know, like that's one of the exciting things, and that's one thing that if he and Manu are really good on the field together, then all of a sudden that makes, like I said previously, that makes everybody else's life easier, and it papers over a lot of issues that you might otherwise have with possession and ball progression and those sorts of things, and so. I don't know. Like, I hope the deal gets done because I think it's really an intriguing profile of person to put next to Manu Garcia in that double pivot.
I agree. And I mean, I have to say reportedly on all of these because that's where we are on this, right? Like These are reports that we're reading out of the local regions, and we're seeing some social media and whatnot. I think that I'm going to put it this way. We wouldn't be spending this much time talking about them if there wasn't real interest, if there wasn't a real opportunity for this to happen.
Right.
And that we thought that, there was a good chance the Sporting might sign these players. So that is why we're spending time on it. Now, each of them has different levels of potential of that happening. We're starting with Johnsen for a reason, and I'll just put it to you that way. That's the best way I can say it without saying things I can't say. But he is definitely an exciting player, and one that we have been trying to find since Ilie left, in my opinion. And I think actually probably has a more well-rounded game than Ilie does. And that makes him even more interesting to me.
It's a super big deal.
It is.
I think it like that profile of player at that position would have been at the absolute top of my wish list.
100%. You saw what a sieve this midfield was last year. It was absurd. We couldn't do another year of Jake Davis and Zoran Basong. I can't do that, dude. I love Jake. He's a good kid. And it's not like Zoe's. I mean, those guys are doing the best they can.
Sure. But they're not it.
You are not going to win MLS games regularly with that as your midfield. It's just not going to happen. Yep. And so they needed to bring and the thing is bringing your DP midfielder and then another high TAM guy that's a Norwegian international. Mm-hmm. The upgrade that you have just created is huge to your midfield by doing that, right? Yep. Now they have other areas, obviously, to address to make it a functional team, but you've definitely solidified a very significant and important area of the field.
Right. You've addressed the spine. And you've addressed to some degree.
You've addressed a part of the spine. The center back position is still.
Sure. But you know what I'm saying though, right? You're focusing your resources in the right places. You're focusing your resources in the spine. You're focusing in chance creation and ball progression, and it's a logical place to build a squad.
Let's just bring that announcement. Let's just close that thing down.
just wait. Do them all at the same time.
Oh yeah,
and that's
it's gonna be. You joked about this, but
like double digits, bitch. Look what I told you.
I would take it at this point, honestly. I'm kind of in the place now where, and I know most of our Discord is as well. Just I mean, anything positive would be good at this point. Let's move on to the next player that Sporting was rumored to be linked with, and this was back in January. Actually, there was a rumor about this, but it sounded a lot like one of those, and I think we talked about it at the time as one of those just agent drumming up interest, because it was Sporting, it was Colorado, it was Genk. There was just everybody was interested in this guy, and I was like, well, wait a minute, this is a player that was at Santos, played 500 minutes, moved to Hungary and has played 500 minutes. And now all these teams want to buy him for a significant amount of money. I'm like, wait, what? So we're talking about Diego Borges. Borges is he is a 21-year-old Brazilian center back. He is currently playing in Hungary. I am not going to try to pronounce the name of his team. I am not Hungarian. And I've even watched him play in some games, and I found the game, the game highlights and whatnot.
I think you're overcomplicating it. It's just Zalegerjeg, right? It's
Zalegerjeg.
It just rolls off the tongue.
I'm sure, if I asked Daniel Shalhoui, he would pronounce it quite a bit differently than Zalegerjeg. That's like calling Tati Castellanos like they do in now that he's at West Ham. I have to hear every fucking English guy say, what an unbelievable strike by Castellanos. I'm like, come on, man. Although, of course, I was corrected. Sam, yes, it is Castellanos because he's Argentinian. So anyway, we get our pronunciation pedantry from Sam at all times. But it is not Castellanos. That is not his name. Anyway, Diego Borges. I'm probably not even saying that perfectly right, and I'll get corrected later. But Not a super high profile player in transfer market as far as value, but apparently is getting some level of interest, and is getting an interest from Sporting Kansas City. Sporting Kansas City has 4 U22 slots they can fill. This guy would meet the profile of that. So you can pay any transfer fee you want for him. You can, sign him to anything under $800,000 a year, and he's U22 eligible, and he's only hitting $200K to the cap. So you want to have some of those players. I think a center back in this position is a good idea. As much as you can say about how the Robert Volador experience went, I don't know that I don't know that it was completely his fault, if I'm being honest to him, being fair to him. This team was a fucking mess for a lot of the time he was here. So it's like trying to play center back on a team that's a mess defensively and a mess in transition defense is not really like the most ideal situation on earth. I'll be interested to see how he does in New York or New Jersey, as it were. But Borges is the guy is huge. Like he's like 6'3", like sort of wide-shouldered, broad-chested. I mean, he looks like, don't get me wrong, we've got our own guy already in Ian James that is young and huge. He looks like Ian James in 2 years. Like that's what he looks like. But I will say he's not the athlete that Ian James is, as far as like his speed and his ability to track transitions. But he's more of the old school sort of big, sort of bruising center back. Really, kind of tries to clear the area and whatnot, but he is raw, to say the least. In fact, after watching the preseason game today, and granted that's it's preseason and it's against the NYCFC second team, James looked a lot more polished, in my opinion, defensively than I saw from Borges in the clips that I saw. But there's a lot of upside there, a lot of potential for sure. And I think with him, it's more game reading and game recognition for him. Like it's mental, it's not physical. And once his brain starts operating at the speed of the game, I think things will be better. And so when you see that and you see the potential of a player like that, you think more like what Charlotte did with Adelson Malanda, like that type of guy, and if you end up shipping him off to the Champo for £8 million or whatever, like that's a huge win.
Yep.
I'm not saying that that's going to happen here, but that's the profile of the type of player that we're looking at here, right? A little bit raw, definitely rough around the edges, but high upside, a lot of potential. And, I don't think he's a signing with the intent of starting 2,500 minutes this year. Now, granted, this team is not the deepest at center back, at least far as talent right now. So he may have to play fairly regularly, at least in the short term, but should they complete this signing? But I don't think that was the intent behind signing a player like this. It's more, this is a developmental signing, which U22 should be at some level.
Yeah. How did you feel about him compared to Jansen Miller?
I think so. As much as I love Jansen, he can get little brother by a center forward. It's happened. It's happened a lot last year. I just watched it happen today. That is not a problem that Borges has. So physically, he is a much more sort of space dominating player than Miller is. I think Miller is a lot more. What's the way? Miller's just a much more active defender. He reminds me a little bit of like Jackson Reagan in that regard. The problem is Miller doesn't have the passing chops Reagan does. So it's like you've got like. I was hopeful that Miller might get, and maybe he is. I'll be interested to see. Over this year, if Miller makes a step forward, because we've only seen him for 1 year. Mm-hmm. But I would be expecting Miller to start polishing up. Like, he's not 22, right? Miller's 25 almost. Yeah. Is he 25 yet? I don't know. But you expect at that point for him to be processing the game at a fairly significant level and being able to use his skills effectively and not sort of get himself in bad spots. And I think Miller's a little bit erratic, I guess, is what I would say as far as his play. you don't have that problem with Borges. The problem with Borges is that he's not recognizing the play fast enough, so he's behind it a lot. But he's not an erratic player in that way. And I did see him going forward a little bit, like go forward with the ball and like hit a good pass, and then sort of get grumpy with his forward line for not doing anything with it when he did it. So, like, I mean, he does seem to read the game well, and I think that there's a player there. But like I said, the difference is this guy's 21. And so you've got a longer road, you've got a longer path runway to get him to success, and the upside is definitely there, right? Yeah. Physically, the guy's an absolute animal. So I think that if you can get and his technical skills are solid. It's not like he's got bad technical skills. He's just it's like the baby deer that's still like trying to sort of know what to do with their body.
More or less than Montez.
Oh, I actually think this guy's way more athletic than Montez.
Okay, good. That's what I need to hear. Thank you.
Montez looked really awkward all the time. This guy doesn't look awkward. He just looks like he doesn't know how to react to situations effectively, right? Yeah. It looks more mental to me and like game speed related and reading the game and like game intelligence related than it does like capability.
By the way, Jansen Miller turned 24 yesterday.
24? Okay. Yeah. Why did I think he was older than that? I mean, he's a college kid. So
because he's already lost his hair. He's already bald. Yeah, so
that's true. That's a fair point.
That does kind of help.
I mean, at least he just gave up and shaved it. Like
true.
For a while there, he was just rocking the male pattern baldness at 23. Like he looked like he was 38.
I'm waiting for like the circle beard and the heel turn. Let's go all the way.
Yeah, for sure. But I don't know. Jury's still out on Miller. I'm interested to see what this year brings. I mean, he'll have opportunities to play based on the depth of the current center back line.
Yeah, absolutely.
But should they get Borges signed, I think that they would that he would have opportunities to play as well, just in the basis of this the depth of the lineup. But sure. I mean, he's playing in Hungary, like he's getting out there, not all the time, but fairly regularly. And when he does, he starts and plays. He hasn't been like yanked or anything from games. Right. Like right. It hasn't been that kind of situation. There's just you playing first team soccer. I mean, he's got 1,000 minutes of first team soccer as a pro, so it's going to be a little bit rough around the edges. And we'll see. We'll see if that comes over what it is. I mean, the team needs warm bodies in some of these positions.
It doesn't matter at some point. Yeah,
and I'm much more excited about him than I am about Wyatt Meyer. Right? Like I just. It's the way
what have you got against the suburbs, man? Come on. That is the most suburban American name, Wyatt Miller. Okay,
so is Wyatt Meyer, Jansen Miller. Like Wyatt Meyer, of those. We got a lot of those white kids that lived outside of town.
Yeah, for real.
Let's move on to the last sort of significant rumor. This is Capita Capemba, or I think his name is Osvaldo Pedro Capemba. Hold on, I gotta look it up. Capita Capemba. I'm sorry, Osvaldo Pedro Capemba goes by Capita. That is his name, nickname. What's on his shirt is Capita. This is an Angolan winger who currently plays in Poland for Radomiak Radom. I did get that one right. I actually looked at the pronunciation of that one. So this is a recent Angolan international, played at AFCON this year. And a very exciting attacking player. Like, very exciting attacking player. This one, I mean, watching the preseason game today and seeing that Calvin Harris is obviously our best winger at the moment, if Shallowy's going to keep playing this, shadow striker central role, Calvin Harris being obviously the best winger that we have available on the roster to play in an outside position man, we can't get this guy soon enough. He like and wicked fast player on the break. Has been playing a lot of left wing. His transfer market has him as left-footed. That's not what I saw in the film. Even Sperry tried to text me and tell me he was left-footed. I was like, no, I don't see. I mean, I've seen a lot of right-footed goals, including like 20-yarders curled into the back corner. Like, if he is left-footed, this man's as 2 foot as Hungmin's son. Like, I mean, he is 2-footed though. He can play off his left foot, and he has scored, and he will cut, if people try to give him if he tries to cut inside on his right from the left, he will cut back if they try to cut that off, and he will cut back on the other side and dribble by on his left. So he is a positive 2-footed player, but I'm fairly certain is right-footed, and has been playing on the left for the most part. But I did see a lot of highlights of him and game film of him playing on the right side as well. Definitely with the national team, with the youth national team and his national team, he's played on the right as well. Really fun player, man. Like, I think in roughly 2,000 minutes over the last 2 seasons, he got like 11 goals and 2 assists. Like, this is a productive player in Poland. And just really like entertaining player, all over the field, has a really good nose for goal, and also combines with his teammates really well. Like, I saw a number of like really solid passes into places that should have been assists, but just didn't come off for whatever reason. So this one is an exciting one too. Probably the least of the three, the least complete as far as potential transaction is concerned, but one I would very much like to see Sporting get over the line. I mean, you're talking about effectively players on all 3 lines at this point if they were able to get these 3 signings done, and
that's a good start.
Yeah, and definitely in the case of Johnsen and Capemba, you're talking about players that are significant, like, starting minutes, starting quality guys. Yeah, starting quality guys.
Yep.
That could immediately sort of raise the ceiling of this team significantly.
And that's something that has to be a priority, right? Because otherwise it is a wooden spoon worthy roster. So the
ceiling is absurdly low right now.
Right.
It is quite low.
And so is the floor.
Well, the floor, yeah, both are low, 100%. But the ceiling,
the floor is the literal floor.
We're talking about the ceiling of the basement right now, right? That is the ceiling. I'm standing in the basement, and the ceiling is there. Yeah. That's where we're at. So yeah, I mean, this is a player that could certainly raise that significantly. And I don't know if you watched this guy at all or looked at any of his stuff, but
no, I didn't have a chance to.
Very exciting. And another one, 24-year-old, sort of early prime level, player with European experience, has been scoring, at a mid-level European league. These are the kind of things that these are the right profile of player for the club to be looking at. And I don't want to get too far out over my skis, evaluating players and get excited about players that have not signed with the club. But it certainly gives me hope.
Yeah.
That the right types of things are happening. And I know that you had mentioned several times that in your evaluation of David Lee that he did not really do a whole lot of business until February, and that's when he got things going, and I think we're seeing that play out in real time here.
I just wonder why. Like, it just
I told you it's dry January, man.
Right.
It's dry January.
On one hand, it seems kind of, bass backwards a little bit. But on the other hand, like you can kind of, if you kind of squint, you can see the logic in it, and why compete with everybody else for January winter stuff when you can just kind of bide your time and play your cards right and sweep up the pieces at the end. I mean, that means you have to have sort of a very comprehensive list of targets that you can move on to. If people get signed in late January or whatever, and so it'd be really interesting to see what the list of targets look like and how deep it was and what sort of we kind of have an idea of what sort of pools they're fishing in, and it's just really we've never been able to really see a process like this play out because of how long Peter Vermes was in charge of this process, and so it's really fascinating to see the sort of strategy, the signing strategy, and the kind of profiles of players that are being looked at, and that's just 3 players. There's still a whole lot on the table. There's a whole lot that can happen. There's probably a whole lot that has not made it to the rumor mill, and so.
We're not going to even talk about the Swiss center back whose name I'm going to murder, Machir Obarajic. Like there have been other players who we've been linked with that the deal's not going to happen for whatever reason. In the case of this guy, it seems like he wants to go to Basel. Rapha Wicky's old club. He doesn't want to come to MLS, even though we apparently offered him a lot of money. So it's just sometimes that's what's going to happen with some of these deals. But that is also that is the profile. That's a 24-year-old Switzerland international center back. That very very high salary. There were 2 berries in there in the very well in the French to English translation. There are some very berries in there. Very very big salary is what it says in there. Which I think I said to you at the time is also probably a message to FC Basel. Hey,
pay the man his money.
Mm-hmm. He's turned down this MLS club. Yeah. Pay that man his money.
Yeah.
Pay him. So I think that but that also shows this is the market that we're shopping in. Mm-hmm. These 1 to 3 million euro transfer fee sort of TAM level players, but they're also 24 to 26-year-old, sometimes got caps for their national teams.
Right.
Type of players. This is the archetype of what this team should be looking at. And so I do think maybe it's taken a minute for us to get positive news in this regard when it comes to players that are being targeted or potentially we're trying to sign. But when we finally did get there, I'm at least warmed by the fact that we're not freaking out and just trying to sign whoever. These are legitimate players that make sense.
Yep, players that make sense at positions that make sense for salaries that make sense. It's extremely sort of rational and reasonable, and that's so strange.
It is, isn't it? I mean, this is the David Lee that I was expecting.
Yeah.
When I was very excited about the club hiring him, was this type of executive that would be looking at and bringing in this type of player.
Yep.
And it appears that that's what he's doing. He's just not doing it on the timeline we wanted him to do it. And there is legitimate. I mean, I think you're right. You can ask the question and go, okay, well, why? Why is that the case? And it could be as simple as what you were saying, that he waits for the window to close for everybody else because he knows he's in a better negotiating position at that point.
I'm sure he'd be happy to sign players in January, but if the deal's not right, the deal's not right, and you can wait until February to find, comparable players for much better deals. That's my suspicion.
Right. Well, you're certainly not getting into the situation like they did with that winger that was playing in Macedonia that ended up with Rangers, with this sort of horse shit about the club accepting the fee, but the guy not wanting to, you know what I mean? Or all of the bullshit with Cesarenga and, Wolves supposedly, or Watford supposedly wanting him and all the nonsense that happened there. You eliminate.
If you want to ditch SKC to go play for Watford, go fuck off and do that, okay? Sorry. Bye.
He's not ever going to play for. He's still in Peru.
Like Basel is something different, right? Because it's like you have Champions League possibilities. Watford ain't playing for no fucking Champions League anytime in the near future.
They're playing in the Championship,
right? In the champion, right? Maybe that's they're hoping to lose a little something in translation, right? Like, yeah, we're in the Championship League or something.
But that's the thing is like Inga, he's still in Peru.
Yeah, poor guy. He got hosed.
I can't believe that he's happy about this situation, man.
No, man. He probably had his mouth all set for some fucking barbecue, and now he's like, man, I done fucked up.
Yeah. Every player comes to Kansas City for the barbecue.
This is known.
It's asked at every introductory press conference. So for sure, but I think that that's the thing. It's like maybe that had something to do with it. I can understand why you wouldn't want to put yourself in that mess. Right. I don't think it's like he's actively avoiding signing players in January.
Agree.
I think it's more like those guys think they have options, right? And maybe they do, but you can't overpay for players in January. Right. And I think it's more without giving him a pass because this roster is still a shit state, even if they sign all three of the guys we just talked about.
Absolutely.
Without giving him a pass, I think the situation with this club is such that if you don't make signings in January, things get really concerning. Right?
Yeah.
And that's the conversation.
Things are very concerning right now.
Well, I mean, they're very concerning for any level of competitiveness early in this season. For sure.
The season starts in 10 days, man.
Right. Well, no, that's what we've been through this.
Right. And as you discussed on the Discord many times, like if you sign somebody, if you sign the greatest player today, they're not going to play for the home opener. Or for the opener, season opener, they might make it for the home opener, and that every day you wait just kicks that can further down the road.
Well, and in the case of Johnsen, I mean, he played in Malmo's friendly yesterday.
Yeah.
Well, and I was kind of surprised based on kind of how the reporting was related to how close he was to coming to join the club. But then I was talking to Mike Kuhn about this. I'm like, honestly, man, even if he's about to come to Kansas City, the club may have been like, yeah, let him play a half in the friendly. Like, he's in his preseason. Like, Johnson's not, he's not because he plays in Sweden, they're on the same calendar as Sporting, or the MLS is. So they're he's in preseason. Right. And as soon as he signs, he's not practicing with anybody. He's waiting in Sweden until he gets his visa, or in Norway until he gets his visa. So you might want him to keep practicing with the club as long as humanly possible, because otherwise you got 2 or 3 weeks, trying to get a visa in Norway before coming here, and so he's not going to be mid-season fresh like maybe a Capita Capemba would be, playing in Poland where they're on the European calendar. So it all sort of depends. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how all this shakes out. I do feel good about the fact. Well, I feel good. I feel positively hopeful. I feel optimistic that we're going to start seeing some official movement here soon.
Okay.
On some of these.
we keep saying that.
Well, I mean, I can't tell you anything. I can't say any more than that.
We have quote unquote official rumors this week, so maybe next week we'll have some official signings. Well, that's the thing.
Capita Capemba was a Tommy Scoops.
Yeah.
Related thing. Well, I want to be fair. We found the Discord found this rumor, and we're discussing the potential of it, and going, "Hey, is this real? Is this guy really possible?" And then Tommy Scoops dropped the bomb on us while holding a newborn baby, apparently. And Scoops is supposed to be on paternity leave, and he's still, he's got to drop him out there every now and then for all of us. And I'm just glad that he had something to say about a Sporting Kansas City potential player. It's always a good thing to see. Okay, there were preseason games. Games were played. Scrimmages, whatever you want to call them, with a nice little white picket fence around them in Coachella. Can we get that at it's Sporting Park again? We don't have a name for Sporting Park, so it is Sporting Park again. We don't have a brand sponsor for it.
We can't put a white picket fence at Sporting Park because it's in the dot. If it were a few miles south in Johnson County, it'd be there. It'd be perfect.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
You gotta know your surroundings.
Definitely
there.
chain link in the dot.
Hey,
Chad's gonna be so mad at me when he hears that. Okay, I have a chain link fence in my backyard. It's fine.
Okay.
Anyway, first note: this team is not good. Not good. I don't know what else to say other than that. 2 preseason games I've watched. I will say I would like them to be able to play the academy / second team of their opponent more often, like they did against NYCFC today.
It is helpful.
That I would appreciate more teams doing that when they play Sporting. Because when they play the first teams of their opponent, they get smoked like they did 3-0 the previous weekend.
Yeah.
I think, as I was saying to you before we started recording, all of the player evaluation stuff is sort of irrelevant when you're looking at this, except for like when they get into, if there are traits of theirs where they're doing things that are alarming or concerning, but maybe they get away with them because it's a preseason match, but doing something that would not bode well in a regular match, or doing things with space and time, or creating their own space and time by playing in a certain way that is positive. Like, those are things you can take away. But for the most part, what you and I are most interested in is the tactics. What is Rapha Wicky doing with this team?
Where are players playing? What is expected of them in the roles that they're being assigned? Absolutely.
100%. So I think probably the most noteworthy thing that we've seen from both of these games is Daniel Shalhoub is not playing as a winger. He is playing as sort of a 10, but sort of a shadow striker thing. The best thing I could correlate it to, and everyone's going to roll their eyes, and here's your Tottenham Hotspur mention of the day, but when Kulusevski was healthy under Postecoglou, he would play this kind of role, where Kulusevski is not an attacking midfielder. Like, that is not actually his position or the kind of thing you would expect him to be. He is a winger, but they would sort of play him underneath the center forward as like kind of this sort of in that position, but more as a what in Football Manager parlance we call a shadow striker, or that would sort of morph into this 4-4-2 defensively. So we're familiar with this 4-4-2 mid block shape. The way that they're kind of going from it is this central player underneath the striker is less more of a creative midfielder and more of a sort of second forward underneath.
Kind of a space exploiter, right? A person to find empty space, and
as Thomas Müller would call it, the Raumdeuter. Right? Like that is kind of what that player is meant to be doing.
I remember back in the day, like when we first started the podcast, I suggested the possibility of moving Daniel Shalhoub into more of a central role, and compared him sort of tongue-in-cheek to Robert Lewandowski in the way that Shalhoub can sometimes find space in the box and find a shot in the box. He, in the subsequent years, he drifted, I think, pretty much completely away from that, sort of idea that I had for him. But I do think that he does have at least the shooting chops and the finishing chops to sort of make that realistic, playing in that sort of shadow striker position. His chance creation for other players leaves a lot to be desired, which is why we're sort of considering him as more of a shadow striker and not so much more of a traditional 10.
You're not playing through him, right?
No, he does not have those passing chops, frankly, either. And so, I think his just like flat out his success in this position, in this role, I think 1,000% is reliant on him establishing a rapport with Dejan Joveljic that they have not been able to establish in one season so far. And so, like, if he can feed Joveljic, it's going to be okay. Like, if he can find Joveljic in space in the box, they're going to be a good partnership.
Or if he can occupy defenders so Joveljic can find space in the box, right? Like, I think I'm not even as concerned about Shallowy hitting assists to Joveljic. I don't know that that's necessarily the primary expectation of mine in this scenario. It's more that you have two dangerous shooters in the similar area, and that either one of them could rotate to either side of the box at any given point in time, and that could create problems marking from a center back perspective. One of the things that about the 4-3-3 that is, especially when you play it with wingers the way that Vermes always did, it's a fairly simple setup to man mark. Like, right. you know, like Joveljic is. We talked about this a lot last year. Joveljic struggled because he had two center backs on him all the time.
At least, sometimes three.
No shit. Like,
or two center backs and a D mid, right? Like,
right.
He's very easy to mark.
He was bracketed, and he still scored 18 fucking times, which is absurd, to be completely honest. Now, there's a few penalties in there, of course, but still, he scored.
Scoring that many goals for that shitty of a team. Yeah, I mean, he should get an award just for that. Honestly, like that's pretty amazing.
It is. And I think that, as isolated as he was in so many circumstances, and you see it in his G+ and a lot of his, value metrics, because he's isolated by himself. Whenever he touches the ball, he's bracketed. He always has to pass backwards. He's getting no meaningful service. Like, it was a tough haul for him last year, and he still scored 18 times.
Right.
I think what I see from the tactics of this team so far, at least, offensively in the final third, is to allow Joveljic to not be the only guy that defenses have to pay attention to.
Right.
And
it sounds so simple and so easy, but it's so important and so often overlooked, right? And at least it has been overlooked in the past. You have to have multiple players who are dangerous. And
are moving throughout the box to cause the defense to have to track them.
Yep.
We have bemoaned for years our issue with Peter Vermes being so reticent to commit numbers to the box,
right,
to create problems for the opposing defense to try to mark.
Yep.
If you got a fourth runner into the box, like, it was hallelujah time.
Yeah,
under Peter Vermes.
It was so rare. It was always noticeable when it happened. It was like, oh shit, that just happened! Wow,
a fourth runner,
a midfielder was in the box. It's a miracle.
I will say that I watched the game today, and there were several circumstances where Sporting had 6 attackers in the box, and
that's wild.
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah.
I didn't know you could do that.
No.
I wasn't aware that we're allowed to have all those players in there at the same time. So I think that is going to. I think that the idea of it is kind of interesting as a means to, because when you give Shallowy a free role, right? Like, he has a fairly free role underneath Joveljic then to sort of interpret the space, as you said, and Joveljic can then go, oh, this guy's tracking him over there, I'm going to float into this space. And I saw him do that a lot. Like, he floated all the way out to the left side of the box several times today, while Shallowy and a winger were actually occupying defenders on the other side. Like, I think both of them having a free role to find the areas, and then expecting your teammates to go, hey, there's my open fucking elite forward up there. I should probably pass him the ball in that place, right? It seems, you're right. It seems fairly simple, but it's just not a tactical setup that we're familiar with seeing from this team.
Well, and another thing that it does is when you sort of slot in Shallowy either underneath or next to Joveljic, it removes that sort of like playmaking expectation from Joveljic, right? Like I was hopeful. I'm very hopeful that we don't see him dropping into the midfield trying to help progress and connect play the way that he did last year.
I mean, He is. I saw it a little bit.
Okay.
But usually he's rotating with Shallowy at that point. So there's
That's
someone
fine.
in front of him to actually pass it to.
That's amazing. That is a brilliant concept.
The problem is he would drop all the way back to the center circle and receive the ball, and there were no runs for him to pass to. Which is why, again, his possession value numbers are so bad because all of his passes have to be backwards.
And as we have documented before, that is 1,000% a game model coaching issue.
When two different center forwards of reasonable quality have exactly the same metrical issue as soon as they join this team, this is a feature of the system, not a bug with the player. Right, especially with Joveljic, where we have data on him playing for the Galaxy and not having these kinds of issues. I wouldn't say he's always like an elite, positive G+ player in his entire career in MLS, but he's never been as bad as he was, and it's almost exactly the same negative rating that Polito had the year before. Right, so there's a systemic aspect to it.
Absolutely.
And I think what I'm excited about with this sort of change towards, instead of using a traditional 10 in this role, using Shallowy and having two guys try to find the spaces at the same time, you create problems for the defense to track them both. And you have two guys who are, I don't think that Shallowy's quite as lethal as Joveljic when it comes to scoring, but he's pretty good with both feet. And I rate him to take good shots.
Yep.
Those from an XG perspective, you're going to have better shots, higher quality chances, and you're going to aggregate more quality over a game and over a season by creating those kind of opportunities to shoot. And I think so. This is an interesting way to go about it when you don't have an elite chance creator either on the wings or in the middle of the field. Yep. As much as I love Manu Garcia, I will agree with those that don't rate him to hit the final pass. Like I can understand where that comes from. No, he's just a different player than that.
He can hit the pass into the final third, but he's not necessarily hitting the pass from the final third into the box.
Think about the slip ball that Benny Feilhaber would hit.
Yeah,
that's just not Manu, right? No. I don't see that out of him. Even Felipe Gutierrez would hit that pass, also get on the end of one and score, but just a different player than what Manu is.
Sporting does not have a player who hits that pass on their roster right
currently.
now.
That I agree with you, and I think that you have to come up with ways to create opportunities to take good shots inside the box.
Yeah.
Other ways, and we see it with this sort of setup with Shallowy and underneath Joveljic as a means to have kind of two different forwards with different ideas to track. We also see this with the false back. You've become fairly familiar with the false back as a Liverpool fan. Like, you have seen this quite a bit, especially when Trent was there. Sporting is doing it on the left side of the field, which I find they were definitely doing it with Basong today, which I thought was interesting, and also an interesting use of Basong's individual characteristics, because we know he can play central midfield as well as left back. A lot of times inverted into the midfield, playing a lot in the midfield, but it also, this is the stuff where I love watching, interesting coaching happening. I wasn't really super sure about Rapha Wicky and whether or not he had some cool coaching ideas in his bag. Watching the game today, he put Basong and Calvin Harris on the same side. So Harris played on the left side in this game, which is where he was probably the most dangerous when he played for Colorado. But I think he played more on the right in the first preseason game. He plays on the left side during this game. Basong is at left back with him. Basong inverts into midfield a lot, and Harris actually tracks all the way back to the left back position in a lot of circumstances. But you've got a player in Harris who has the speed and the physicality to cover that whole line by himself. I just thought it was a fascinating way to kind of employ two of these players, and Harris several times against New York City got behind as well and created a lot of problems. I mean, like I said, it is clear that he is 100% the best winger that the team has right now. Like I said, if we're not counting Shallowy as a winger, he is 100% the best winger on the team. And he immediately created a lot of problems for, again, New York City FC2's back line.
Right.
But it was clear his speed and his danger and the things that I remember from when he played in Colorado were on display. And he was a key part of both goals that were scored in the first half. And so I think that it's nice to see that utilized in sort of that interesting way. But I'm interested to see what your thought is on kind of doing the inverted fullback thing into midfield and creating that midfield overload as well, because I think that's an important sort of wrinkle to how Sporting is looking to play soccer this year.
I am a huge fan of midfield overloads. I think that teams that control the midfield generally are going to control games and generally going to win games. And so I think that that's I was not able to watch the game today, and so I think that that's an interesting thing to look for in the future is how that plays out, and how that plays out given personnel who ends up playing that position, and whether or not that is sort of something that is sort of written in pen in the game model, like that we invert at least the left fullback into the midfield, or if it's something that's more situational and player dependent, right? There where it's only if Pasong is over there, which it's okay if that's something that's specific to him, because that's a skill that he has, and he can play both midfield and left back at relatively high levels, and so. If it's just specific to him, then that's a good sort of club to have in your bag, right? And I think that any sort of tactical flexibility. Look, this team is still terrible. This roster is still severely depleted and does not have any depth, and so Wicky is going to need to employ every possible thing that he can pull out of his ass to make the team competitive. He's going to have to do. And if this is one of those things, then great. If it falls by the wayside when there's an upgrade in talent, then that's what happens too, right? But if it's something that sort of lives on because it's a viable tactical approach, then that's fine too. But I think that right now, given the status of the roster, I think that Wicky's just trying to find what works and what leverage the skills that that the players that he has at his disposal right now have.
How many times over the last, we're going into our 5th year of doing this podcast, by the way, have we discussed putting players in positions to succeed?
Yeah.
And not square peg, round hole in it all the time?
Many. That's what good coaches do.
I don't think Jaden Reed was inverting into the midfield much when he came on in the second half. I don't remember that. Justin Reynolds was playing right back significantly differently than Jake Davis did in the first half of this game. Uh-huh. But there was balance to those changes. When they made those changes, the team was balanced against what those different playing styles would be.
Right.
That is allowing your players to play soccer in the way they play them.
Yep.
And then also constructing the team together with roles that make sense.
Yep.
It's weird. I feel fucking weird because I really do truly believe that Peter Vermees is an exceptional soccer coach. Uh-huh. I really do believe that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I wasn't super excited about Rapha Wicky as a soccer coach and his abilities.
Same.
I am much more tactically interested in what Rapha Wicky's doing right now than what anything that I remember from Vermees of recent years. And I don't know what to do with those feelings, to be completely honest.
And I would recommend you just enjoy the ride, right? Because
I mean, the team still sucks, but
right.
I see him doing things to try to maximize it as much as he can.
Yep, and that's the best that fans can hope for, frankly. Until Lee brings on a competitive, balanced MLS roster, the most that fans can hope for is that Wicky gets the team that he has at his disposal, that he leverages those players and their skills to be as competitive as they can. That doesn't mean they're going to be good. It just means that they're going to play to their strengths. They're going to be competitive. He's not going to ask them to do things that they can't do or that they're bad at doing. He's going to put them in positions to be successful, and hopefully that leads to soccer that isn't terrible.
100%. I also think that it gives me some optimism for when Wicky has some of these better players, how he can use them.
Right.
And like he understands players and their capabilities well enough to put them in opportunities to positively impact the games without just sort of pigeonholing them into some role that you have built in your structure.
So can I ask a quick question, and if you can't answer it, maybe someone can answer it on the Discord. Like, I've seen from multiple different commenters, either on Discord or on the internet at large. I've seen lip service to Wicky being a good coach for developing youth. Like that's like a thing that he does. Like where does that statement come from? Like where is the evidence and the proof that is actually a thing? Because I don't know that that statement is made sort of usually as it's like a declarative statement, like this is true, and I've never really seen the proof that actually is the case.
Well, I don't know what the proof would be of it. I don't know that he's ever been at a job long enough for you to see him like take a young player and turn them into something. So I think that's as I said last week when we talk about leading versus trailing indicators of success. A trailing indicator of being a good youth developer is the player moving on and becoming better.
Right.
A leading indicator is an ability to be able to connect with those players and be able to and get them on board with and like bring them along with what you're saying.
Sure.
And there are examples of players saying this guy really helped me a lot.
Okay. Well, that's
Gianluca Busio is a noteworthy one of them. Like when he was with the U17s and Wicky was the U17 head coach, like both Wicky and Busio have very positive things to say about each other.
Okay,
in that circumstance. Now that is one anecdotal like sort of piece of evidence. I don't think that there's going to be some wherewithal, but I also think like if you look at Wicky's career, he was the Basel U18 coach for like that was like kind of his first like major job.
Sure.
He was a youth coach for two different Swiss clubs, and then he was the Basel U18 coach, the Basel U21 coach, and then he took over as the Basel head coach when they fired their head coach.
Sure.
But he had been a youth coach in Basel's system for 5 years.
Okay.
Prior to taking that job.
That makes a lot more sense, and that makes me feel better about that.
And then of course he, after leaving Basel, he became the US U17 coach. So yeah. I think his experience in working with young players is without question.
Okay.
Right. Like there's no question that he has a lot of experience doing it. Is he really good at developing young players? I mean, I don't know that like I said, I saw you nodding when I was saying it. It's like, I don't know that he's ever been anywhere long enough for you to say he's responsible for developing this young player.
Right.
But I do think that he has experience doing it. And I've heard at least in the more than one circumstance that young players had positive things to say about him as a coach.
Good. That's not nothing. So that's better than I felt better about it now than I did before. So I'm glad about
he by and large seems to be a decent players coach.
Yeah.
That players seem to react to him well. And so, I mean, is he the guy to lead us to MLS Cup? I have no fucking idea. And I got to be honest.
Luckily, we don't got to worry about that for a while.
Long ways to go. According to Daniel Shallowy on the stream, it might take us 5 years. So
5 years.
I was like,
I just keep coming back to like the ASA's season preview for Sporting Kansas City. Like there's a whole paragraph that says, while other teams are dealing with where players fit on the depth chart, SKC's major roster question is more fundamental. Who is even on the depth chart? What is a depth chart? Why is a depth chart? At the time of writing, the team announced a 20-player roster for Coachella Valley Invitational, and somehow 4 of them are goalkeepers. Like, that just sums it up. Like, what the fuck?
We've been here. We've done this. I mean, we're laughing about this now.
Yeah.
But we've been through this already.
Absolutely.
We kind of went through our cathartic exercise of screaming into the wind about the situation, because we both kind of got, I mean, I think you had been there for a while. I was trying not to get over the top about it. Well, not give in, just me, I'm always trying to like hold it back from getting, too you're a mouthpiece for the club. We all know it. Yeah, exactly. I'm a shill. I'm a shill for the club. They send me a check every week.
You can be bought with brown liquor. So let's.
Yeah, I can't. That's true. I can be bought with brown liquor. I wish they were paying for my brown liquor. It's an expensive habit. No, I think that I tried in a lot of circumstances. The way that our vibe works is sometimes I try to dial back the sensationalism a little bit.
Sure.
We even reached a point for me where I could not abide it anymore. Like, right. And I just sort of kind of flew off about it. And at some level, I think it's important to be transparent about the fact that we feel all these things. Mm-hmm. We see all of them. But I also don't think it's helpful to me to for us to just sit in a stage of depression about this club every week either. Like, that's not helping anybody. We all want to enjoy this. Like, what's the fucking point? Why would you, we've said this before. We're all spending a ton of money to participate in this club in various different ways. Season ticket memberships, merch, watching it on TV, like any of the thing. You are actively spending your income to be a fan of this team.
Financial and emotional.
And emotional. Yeah, for sure. It shouldn't suck ass all the time, right? Yeah. And no matter what the state of the team is. And I think that was a point that, I think Leanne has tried to get across a little bit on the Discord, as well as Zach, is just like, at some level, like, we got to find a way to enjoy this. And so, yeah, scream into the void, let it all out. But then also, let's try to find a way to still have our community around this and enjoy it. And I think that, we've done a fairly good job of balancing both sides of that. That is my goal, at least.
So speaking of sucking ass, what were your thoughts on Shapi Suleimanov the first couple of games?
Oh my God.
I
don't know how I'm at the point now where I am legitimately upset that we signed him.
Yeah. He's not good at all.
He is going to he is taking up on the salary budget right now a similar amount of cap spending that Lasse Berg Johnsen or Capita Capemba would be taking.
Yeah, that's wild. And giving basically nothing in return.
He's taking up the same amount of cap space as Daniel Shallowy.
Yeah, that's wild.
It's absurd. We've had conversations about, is Mike Burns good or not, on the Discord and on here. It's definitely a negative tick in his direction. Like, I think he did what he needed to do to sign Manu Garcia. Mm-hmm. And as much as I love Manu as well, I'm not sure Manu Garcia is worth taking on Shapi Suleimanov.
Right. Yeah. It does kind of cloud that Manu signing, right? It's like, Manu's a great signing, but you also had to take on Shapi, and that is
God, he was so bad in that game on the weekend. Like,
yeah, like I said, I didn't watch the game today, but I did watch some of the game on the weekend, and holy shit, he was like the worst player on the field, and it was really noticeable that he was much worse than everybody. Just as noticeable how Manu Garcia was better than everybody else. Shapi Suleimanov was terrible and really brought nothing positive to to the state of the game, and in a preseason game, that's really not what you want to see, and especially when it's a continuation of what we saw last year. He's just a severely limited player, and definitely not worth the money, and probably not even worth a roster spot. So the sooner he can leave Kansas City, the better, in my opinion. I'm sure he's a wonderful guy, but I mean, like, he's here to play soccer, and he's terrible at it. So.
Yeah, no, he is a really nice guy.
Sure.
I mean, I've met him once. He's legitimately a good. I mean, we have to be able to talk about these things separately. Kyrie Shelton's a super nice guy. I like him a lot personally. He is now a coach for Courtney Ford's soccer academy thing.
Yep,
great. He's a good dude. He was not an effective soccer player for a team that is trying to win games in MLS. I'm sorry. And that sucks. And that sucks. I'm not either. That doesn't make me a shitty person. Maybe I am a shitty person, but
those two things are not necessarily connected.
Exactly. So we have to be able to discuss these things in that manner. And Shapi just was not good enough. He's just not been good enough.
No.
And it was very clear against Minnesota this weekend how not good enough it was. He was better, I would say, today, but again, the competition is also noteworthy in where he looks better. And there was still a moment, and I think I said it on the Discord while watching the game this afternoon. I was like, nobody takes I watched Jacob Bartlett hit a 25-yarder on the carpet right to his feet, and Shapi was... Again, the tactical plan of this really does create midfield overloads. They're trying to progress the ball through the middle and create midfield sort of overloads. Well, the wingers get inverted a lot. The fullbacks invert a lot. There's a lot of underlapping runs out of the midfield, kind of in between the winger and the fullback. Like, all of that is like stuff that they're doing. I saw Jacob Bartlett turn around and just rope one to Shapi all the way up at the center circle, and on the turf, split the lines. I was like, ooh, all right, Bart, nice pass. Shapi felt pressure on his back, immediately dribbled backwards 20 yards. And I was just like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like, nobody takes a progressive pass and does nothing with it quite like Shapi does. And I can't watch that anymore, man.
No.
Like, has this man ever taken a pass on the turn? Ever? And he's a winger, for God's sake.
Yeah.
I can't with it anymore. So, all right, you got me fired up about Shapi Suleimanov. I'm surprised I got more fired up than you did, because I know you were not pleased.
You put it in the rundown. I was just cycling back around to the rundown so that to get us back on track. But yeah, he sucks. And it's like, he's objectively bad. Like, there's no getting around it. And so the more players that they can sign who can play right wing, the better. The deeper he gets buried on the depth chart, the better.
I will say Steven Afrifa is not it either.
No, we've known that, right? That's not news to some of us. To some of us, it is news. But...
I think I said this to Chad Reynolds today. I was like, I don't understand the infatuation with Afrifa. Yes, Shapi is ass, but both things can be true. They can both be bad at the same time.
It's just backup quarterback syndrome. That's all it is, right? I mean,
dude, Afrifa did the thing that drives me fucking insane about him every time I see him play. Just being sort of a slower pass was coming to him. Had absolutely never checked his shoulder, had no situational awareness as to any pressure coming to him whatsoever, and just, like, by the time he's about to receive the ball, the fullback is already in front of it and took the ball and went the other direction.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
brother.
That's bad.
Like, as a coach, if you see some shit like that, like, you are irate, right? Like, this is simple stuff. Like, you're about to receive a pass, check your shoulder.
Right. Well, this is why most coaches prefer a player to Shapi, like Shapi, to a player like Afrifa, is that Shapi, He's limited, but he knows how to play. He doesn't give the ball up. He doesn't lose the ball needlessly. In fact, if ever, if anything, he errs on the side of caution too much.
Oh no, he 100% errs on the side of caution too much.
Where Afrifa is a lot more of a wild card, which I think is why fans like him. Is he does things that are unpredictable, and we want to see that. And
yeah, but if he turns the ball over half the time that it gets to him, what's the fucking point?
Absolutely. So they're both incredibly limited players. One's just making a shit ton more money than the other one, and neither one of them, frankly, should be on the roster. So, but they are, and they're going to be probably for most of, if not the entire season. And so, what fans need to hope for is that Lee is successful in bringing in players to compete. And win that job.
It's just like I watch Afrifa play, and I hear all the same shit that I've been hearing for like 3 years. Oh, he looks great in preseason, blah blah blah. And I watch the game, and I'm like, not really to me. Like he's fine or whatever, but not like anything noteworthy. Calvin Harris was significantly better than him in this game.
Yeah,
like it was clear how much better Harris was than him in this game, and I was like. This is a guy who was like at one point trying to force a move out because he was thinking he was going to get to the Canadian national team. I'm like, bro, do you
soccer? Do you even soccer, bro?
I mean, come on, man.
No,
it
seems obvious that the Afrifa enjoyer is Afrifa himself. So
Well, the club called him.
I know,
because did you see the video?
Yeah,
they happened to have the video cameras rolling when he hits a nice volley.
Yeah.
And I mean, cool. And I look, it's cool. It's a nice volley. It looks cool. Whatever. Any professional soccer player can do this 15 times in training. This is not an uncommon occurrence. Okay. Right. These guys are good enough at soccer that they all can do this. But yeah, I just thought, and they tagged the Afrifa Enjoyer account on Twitter when they posted the video, which, okay, fine, whatever. I mean, so all of this, we've expounded on the tactical changes and playing players in different positions and all of the different capabilities that Rapha Wicky is trying to instill in this team, which I do think is also noteworthy, includes a fairly significant amount of high pressure as well as real fucking tackling.
Yeah.
Which is nice too.
Absolutely.
The team still sucks. Does this matter at all?
I mean, it matters. It matters in terms of laying a foundation, I think. But no, it's preseason. It really doesn't matter. And with any luck, and a considerable amount of skill,
want it to matter more than it actually does. I think is probably the thing.
The thing is that in 6 months or a year, the team is probably going to look completely different, completely different kinds of players, and so it's probably not going to matter all that much, honestly.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think it's
whatever.
I think it's semi noteworthy for the reasons we already stated, which is seeing Wicky sort of twist things around based on the capabilities of the players he has.
Yep.
And then going, okay, how's this going to look when his players are better? And thinking, oh man, okay, this might be kind of interesting.
Yeah.
That part I found intriguing. Shallowy as a shadow striker, sort of Raumdeuter-ish kind of player, I found intriguing.
It is
Manu
intriguing.
in the double pivot, I found intriguing. This is Manu in a double pivot is something we've been talking about since he joined the team. So I like all of those kind of ideas, and I like seeing them play out. And what the fuck? I mean, this team's not going to be good. You may as well try some shit.
Amen.
Right?
Amen. Amen.
Do something interesting with the team. Remember, a lot of your complaints last year with Carey was just there's nothing interesting really happening. Right. It's just sort of we're playing soccer-ish.
So this gets to sort of one of my meta conversations or meta takes about MLS is that there's no relegation, so MLS should be fucking wild, right? You should have the craziest shit happening in MLS because literally there's no fucking penalty for it, right? You have teams that refuse to do anything, like Montreal and DC United, and there's no penalty for them not doing jack shit. So you might as well get a little weird with it and try some stuff. And what's the worst that can happen? happen, right? Like, this is a spoon contending team right now. Whatever Wicky tries to do is almost certainly not going to make them worse, right? Like, it's just not going to happen. And so, let your freak flow, man. Get wild with it. Let's see some weirdness. It's okay.
Let your freak flow. That might be the title of the podcast.
Okay, do it. It's fine.
Let your freak flag.
That one's free. That one's free, Drew. The rest are going to cost you.
I mean, I will say, lumping Montreal and DC into the they don't do shit thing is probably not fair to DC. They do shit. They just do it really badly. They're just really bad at it. They spend money. They're just terrible at it. Montreal, I'm not totally certain, isn't just a play toy for Joey Saputo's kids. I really am not. But the DC United, they attempt to be good. They just are terrible. We'll see if our latest tour is going to turn CSO is gonna fix things there. All right. Moving on to other news. More news. We got plenty more news to talk about here. The new kit has launched. So this team, which is not very good, will be sporting a new, very good looking kit, in my opinion. As we know, kit discourse is very subjective. It didn't stop. I mean, my favorite thing, and we saw several of these articles come out, is the ranking of the kit designs. Well, like there's no more great, guaranteed like high engagement article.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like something that's completely subjective is all in the eye of the beholder.
Hey man, if we were engagement farmers, that would be the title of the podcast, and we'd have
it's like ranking
YouTube,
MLS kits.
Absolutely, why not? Like.
It is. We could do that.
In the grand total sum of clickbaits, it's pretty minor, right? It is. It's pretty inoffensive, and
it's irrelevant to me. So, Sporting releases their new kit. They're calling it the 18 and Vine kit. This is their latest secondary kit. They kind of went back to the dark indigo that we saw on State Line 3.0, which was the secondary before the last Diamonds Are Forever kit, I think is what it was called, which had sort of the embossed 913816 state lines in it. I will say that is a kit that was... the concept was much better than the execution of that one. This kit, concept and execution, 5 stars in my opinion. I think it looks really cool. They did the cool the jazz intro. The end of the video is the lyrics to Kansas City Here I Come. Mm-hmm. Like they did a really good job with it. I really enjoy it. You've got all the neon hits, the little jock tag in the back, or the tag in the back with the trumpet and or was it a trumpet, or is it just like a quarter note and a bass clef or something like that? But anyway, they've got the musical stuff on it. Just and the way the neon stuff, sort of the neon purples and pinks, but also it is the diamonds of the Argyle in a certain way. Yeah. I mean, just they've done like some fun sort of cool hits, like if you know kind of stuff, but also it looks fucking good.
Yeah,
it just looks good. It looks good on people.
Yep.
Chad has said multiple times, like the biggest goal of these kit designs is when someone wears it with some jeans, does it look okay, right? Like, is this something that looks cool when you wear it? And you see that video of all the players, and they're just wearing it with jeans and just hanging out, and it looks like it's a fun shirt.
Yep.
I know you've already said that your wife is very into this one, so you're buying at least one of them. It sounds like.
Yeah, and that means I'm buying 2. So bye bye.
Oh, matchy.
Bye bank account. It's okay.
Well, I mean, they're only what $160 now or something.
It's fine. It's fine.
Inflation. I was actually I have been. I think that there have been some interesting attempts on certain things in recent time frames, and I can have separate conversations with Chad about how all those worked out. The last 2 secondaries I think have been really cool. Like they've done cool stuff with them. The previous secondary with the diamond / Argyle stuff on it, but having sort of the alternate blue and sort of that sort of tealish color on them, like made them different, but also still it's a dark blue secondary. It still looks like a Sporting Kansas City secondary. Yep. And this one kind of going back to that dark indigo, but also having the neon and diamond hits on it. I just they've done a really good job with it. And I think what they're trying, what it appears that they're trying to do is do some interesting things with the secondary while keeping the primary consistent, at least with the style of
Stripes,
it, right?
Stripey,
exactly.
Kind of thing. Yep.
I think the last one with kind of trying to do the state line-y thing in the stripe, it was kind of a cool idea, but with all the paneling that was in that Adidas kit, it looks kind of weird, in my opinion. I think that's more of a issue with the design of the shirt with the paneling and what they had to do with that.
With the base template.
And the requirements for having contrasting colors in some of those panels, it just sort of makes it look a little bit weird. But this one, home run.
Yeah, it's real nice.
And it for the most part got fairly good reviews from the people that were doing those lists. I think the CBS Sports one had it number 1. So cool. Do we get a trophy for that? Does that mean we cannot win the wooden spoon?
Oh God, I hope so.
Best kit means the wooden spoon goes to the next worst team, right?
That would be St. Louis. So worst kit and wooden spoon. Let's go.
I that's what we should do, is give the wooden spoon out to the worst kit.
And you have to earn your way out of it.
Yeah. Like Jazz actually did, exist in Kansas City 100 years ago.
Right.
Tina Turner went to high school in St. Louis.
Yeah, I know, man.
Zach was pretty funny with that one. He's like, which high school did she go to?
There's nothing more St. Louis than that.
Yeah. Maybe that's why they used her on the kit. It's like she went to high school there. It's like the most important thing.
It is the most important thing to any of them. Absolutely. The high school thing. So, yeah.
Makes sense. Any other MLS kits stick out for you? Anything? Did you have even looked at them at all?
Yeah, I did glance at them. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm having like an existential crisis because in the draft, which I won, I picked a collared jersey, which is not really my thing at all. The collared MLS jerseys this year are kind of doing it for me, and I just don't know. I don't know what to do with myself. I don't know what this says about me. It's really giving me a problem, and so I'm gonna have to do some deep meditation to sort of get to the root of why I suddenly have an affection for collared kits I have always thought that they were just terrible, and I don't know why, but they're just appealing to me. So it's something really weird.
Which is weird because the collared ones this year I think are fairly like okay to whatever. Like you've got,
I don't know, like this Chicago kit looks nice. I'm like, really? Okay, I like that. Yeah,
I mean, it's a throwback. It's a throwback old Fire shirt.
Maybe that's partly why I like it. And I do like the other kind of throwbacky stuff. Like I love I love the Galaxy kit, even though it's just a sash, right? It's just white with the sash. I wish they didn't.
Yeah, I wish. Well, they did the sash a little bit different. I wish they didn't have the the multi-level marketing company like breaking up the sash.
Yeah,
that would be nice.
The spacing of the text looks fucking terrible. Like it ruins the whole thing.
It's like down lower, right. That it like
and
the
thing is like
on top of it.
I didn't even think about it until I saw it. Like somebody pointed it out. And now I can't unsee it, so it ruined the whole thing for me forever. Now all you can see is
like the 2 inches of white above the logo.
It's the worst. Honestly, I think Atlanta has the best kit this season.
I enjoy this one a lot.
That kit is fucking awesome. It is beautiful, and the
tie back to the '96 Olympics and all of that is like really really cool. I actually, it is. Non-sporting kit, my favorite one for sure. I mean, I like that one a lot. They did a really good job with it. Really good job with it.
I thought that the San Diego kit was like, what the fuck, until the blue shorts. The blue shorts makes it. If there wasn't blue shorts with it, it would be absolutely one of the worst. And I don't know, like. I agree with the takes on the centralized logos on the Nashville kit. I think that looks pretty bad. It doesn't matter though, because without a doubt, the absolute worst kit is St. Louis's kit, and
so bad,
it is just ridiculously bad, like embarrassingly bad. Nobody's gonna fucking wear that thing. It's just bad.
Fucking sucks that they tied Tina Turner to this thing. Like, fuck you. Like, you made this shitty ass kit.
Yeah, they waited till she died to do it. So that's how bad it is.
Fucking tied an American art icon to this absolute trash kit. Like, this is garbage.
It is.
It's upsetting to me. It's personally upsetting to me that you would do that to Tina Turner.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. The Houston one's pretty bad. Like the concept was a really cool idea that they just executed really bad.
I don't even think about Houston. They're a trash club. They're not even worth. Like, I don't even give a fuck what they do with their kids. Whatever.
I mean, DC United just went to black T-shirt again, so you got that.
That is a classic look for them. So whatever.
It is true. And Real Salt Lake, even though they're Real Salt Lake, always wants to do some sort of riff on a Barcelona kit. So like we've got that again. So
yeah,
cool. I don't know. I really do enjoy the Atlanta kit, as you noted. The other collared ones, I just don't think. I mean, Miami's is just a black T-shirt and with a collar, and Columbus's is. It does. I mean, I will say this: I am okay with simple kits when they're iconic. And Columbus wearing a black shirt, wearing a gold shirt with black accents and a black collar, like that looks like a crew kit. I know that's the crew.
Yep.
And so I'm actually good with that. Similarly with Vancouver's. Vancouver's isn't that crazy. It's got the little collar detail and the sleeve detail.
Yeah.
But it's that dark blue with the white. That is Vancouver, right?
Yep.
Even Charlotte hasn't been in the league that long, but they have a design aesthetic.
I was
like
surprised how much I like that kit, because
the Charlotte one,
because it's
kind of got the baseball sleeve kind of thing going with it. But yeah, it looks
I'm not
good.
normally attracted to that style of kit. I think it looks pretty amateur, but that one does it for me for some reason. So
I will say the San Jose Grateful Dead thing I thought was a cool idea. I think the shirt looks, because they had to keep the color so light, looks a little less cool than it could, but they have a tracksuit that goes with it.
They really tried to cover it up in their release video by just overlaying a projector image on. I was like, can we see the kit? Like, it must be shit if you're just projecting images on it all the time.
It's a little too light, I think, in the coloring. It's for you to really get a cool vibe of what they're doing with the tie-dye.
That's what people want with tie-dye is washed out tie-dye. Just wait till you can do the full color one. I don't understand.
I don't know. But the tracksuit has the darker colors on it. It looks fucking cool.
Yeah.
I know, but again, this is super subjective. I know people don't like it, so it's fine.
No, it's science, Drew. We're right. They're
science.
Wrong.
Hey,
I will say I would never have connected like the design of Sporting's kit to 18th and Vine if they wouldn't have made that connection for me. Like I wouldn't have ever. You could have given me months to stare at that jersey, and I wouldn't have been any much wiser.
I think. I got the vibe from it even when they did the leak that it was some sort of jazz related thing. Okay. So that makes sense to me that it'd be 18 and Vine.
So I think the imagery, yes, that's jazz, but the neon part of it, I didn't associate with it. But maybe that's just me being obtuse. I don't know.
Oh, okay. I mean, I think it's good that they tell the story so you get the point of what they're trying to do, because a lot of us are dull. Like we don't get it.
Case in point, I didn't get it. Chief Dullard right here.
We'll get to the last story.
You really got to hit me in the head with shit like hanging saxophones at the airport, right? It's got to be like that obvious for me sometimes. So
yeah, I understand. I get it. I get it. Real quick one. This is more just a statement by me, and you can add any of your thoughts. Matt Doyle. His time at MLSsoccer.com, Major League Soccer, soccer.com, a website I'd never go to and have even less in interest in going to now. Matt is no longer on the writing staff for that publication. This league continuously makes decisions like they're being run by private equity. I don't know what to say at this point. I will get, like, the last reason I have to go to that website is when Charlie Boehm writes something on there.
Yeah.
I mean, and Charlie, I follow him on social media, so I'll just hit it when he does.
Yep.
We have, in our own time, sort of bemoaned our issues with Matt being able to articulate some of the actual things going on with the club that we cover so significantly, mainly because it's fucking impossible to be aware of all the details of the things that are going on with 30 clubs at once. And so I will own my priors in that regard. But I will also say that Matt is, for a lot of people that listen to this podcast, for a lot of people that watch MLS regularly, is the reason they do it. Or certainly have decided to get more engaged in the product that is MLS. He's a significant reason of why. And it sort of sucks that he's being sort of cast aside in this way. Now, I will say that by also saying that we knew immediately where he was going, which is Soccer-Wise and Kickback Media. It is very clear that there is a viable business strategy towards catering to this part of the MLS fan base, and they are building it up, and it is a great place for him to be. But he also did recently, he started a blog last year. Over the last week moved it to Ghost, which I think is a significantly better platform for a variety of reasons. And now he has a subscription service on there, and he's going to do some additional stuff for paid he will still offer a lot of his stuff free. So you can just go get on his mailing list to get that stuff for free. But there are also, going to be, subscriber related things to help kind of augment Matt's, salary, which I think, I am happy to pay for journalists that I care about. And Matt is certainly one of them. So I do think if you appreciate the kind of things that he does, there are ways for you to support him in that regard. I think the base level of his thing is like $50 a year. Yeah, I know it's $50, but I mean, $50 a year is $6 a month.
Right.
Or no, that's not even. Is it? No, it's less. That's not even $6 a month. $50 a year is way less than that. I can't do math. But anyway, it's like a little over $4 a month to be a subscriber to his thing, and I think that for people that are doing the good things covering this sport, sometimes it's worthwhile to support it. And everybody do with their own money what they want to do with him. But I do appreciate what he does, and I do think that I'm actually excited to see what his analysis starts to look like now that he's a little bit untethered from, and not to say that Matt ever held his opinions back completely, but he did have editors. And he was an employee of the league, so there were some limits to what he could say or do. And I think that I'm interested to see, how that shifts over the next year.
Yeah, I'm preferring to think of it as he's been liberated, and so I'm hopeful of good things to come. And, the only other thing I would say is that at some point, I think that just media in general, and specifically, soccer media, it's going to drift back to more of a centralized model, because you can't. I don't know how sustainable it is to pay Patreon fees to 5-10 different folks when when you should be able just to pay to a single entity and get the content that you need. And I think that we all kind of thought that the Athletic was going to be like that. That's what the Athletic was going to be, and that did not happen to be the case. And so, thankfully, the Guardian has kind of stepped in and taken up some of that mantle. But there's there's just a lot of space for content in this area, and it's just a matter of finding ways to leverage monetization out of that. And someone smarter than me is going to figure out how to do that in a way that makes sense for everybody.
I think that's the goal that Kickback has. You know, they've got investors, and Goss is like a C-suite guy now, like at that company. I think that they have the goal of sort of trying to do that, and maybe 5 years from now they're in a place where they can just put everybody on salary, and Doyle doesn't need to have a paid blog to supplement his income. Notable point. On The Guardian, Alex is getting the band back together over there, which is awesome. So Jeff Ruder and Pablo Maurer have been signed on as correspondents there, which is awesome. I love that.
It is.
And Alex is doing an amazing job building out that staff and giving us that available and, I mean, candidly necessary reporting on the sport that we all love and enjoy, and doing it in a way that is accessible.
Yep.
So, I mean, I love all of that for sure. But I do think, look, I did say this. I think it's probably okay that the league is not the arbiter of this information anymore.
No, it's preferable.
Yeah. An independent media is actually good.
Yep.
And I think that the nature of the league up until this point was that they had to subsidize it at some level.
Yeah.
And I don't think I think it's noteworthy that they don't have to anymore. Mm-hmm. I think it's good. And I think that between SoccerWise and Kickback and and Backheeled and The Athletic and The Guardian, we have a number of outlets covering this league in detail.
Yep.
That's a positive in my opinion. And I'm hopeful that it just continues to grow.
I totally agree.
All right. I'm going to finish this off on a somewhat sad note. The Kansas City Current could not allow us to get through a week where we only talked about Sporting Kansas City and MLS, and sort of dropped a bomb on all of us this afternoon.
It's a good news, bad news type of thing for sure.
Yeah, so I heard about the good news first, and I have to tell this story because I don't think he's going to get grumpy with me for telling this story. So Daniel Sperry sort of clues me into the fact that this is happening. I get a text message. It's probably, I don't know, maybe it wasn't near as long before the news broke that I think he thought it was going to be, but that. Big deals coming, shockwaves through NWSL. This is going to be big news. And the next text is Croy Bethune to Kansas City Current. And I was like, what? Excuse? You probably need to...
You're like, fuck yeah, let's go.
Hell yeah. This is amazing. What? Hello. And I'm super excited. Yeah. And I'm like, this would be a huge addition to this team. Really help address some of the chance creation issues they have, really force Allie Sentner up into the center forward position where I think she is best. Just like a really good addition to the club. And I'm like, man, I don't know how they pulled this off, but fuck yeah, this is amazing. And I wouldn't say 5 or 10 minutes after I got the text from him, all of a sudden Sandra is reporting on CBS Sports all of the details of the trade. And it's like 1.1 million in or intra-league transfer funds or something like that. I mean, Jesus, like how are they funding this? Like they just did a bunch of these funds to sign Allie Sentner and they were like spaced out over several years. I'm like, I don't know a ton. Like it's, if you think MLS rules and kind of how people are applying them are opaque, like NWSL is a whole different level of that. I'm like, I'm not really sure like how they're pulling this off. And then Jeff Kassouf drops his version of the report, which is, yes, the Kansas City Current are acquiring Croy Bethune for $1.1 million in transfer funds. But they're sending Claire Hutton to Bay FC for $1 million of those transfer funds.
Yep.
what is the Bible phrase? The Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. I like Croy Bethune. I think she's a really good player. I think she is surplus to requirements of the attack of the Kansas City Current. I don't think Claire Hutton is surplus to requirements.
Yeah.
So I'm concerned that this is going to create an imbalance, or certainly introduce an imbalance to their performance that didn't necessarily need to happen.
Yeah.
I don't know what your thoughts, just on the face of it,
my thoughts are, my immediate thought was that, my immediate thought was very Chris Armas related, in that, Claire Hutton is not an ideal.
Really? We did discuss this. I didn't even think about this angle.
I don't think she's an ideal central midfield on a high pressing team, and I think that might have sort of colored the decision significantly. So that was my initial thought.
That's a bummer. I hadn't even considered that as a potential sort of at least decision-making factor as to why that would happen. I did get the fees flipped around. Croy Bethune, the Current gave $1 million to get Croy Bethune. They received $1.1 million to get for Claire Hutton. So I guess they pocket $100,000 in this process. I mean, cool. I guess whatever. But they're effectively trading Croy Bethune for Claire Hutton, and I'm like, why? Why would you need to do something like this? I mean, Croy Bethune is in the last year of her contract. I don't know that the Current have a way of re-signing her under the salary cap. And she is 24 and has had surgeries on both knees, and one of them a couple times.
Yeah.
Claire Hutton is 20 years old. So far seems to be a physical tank. I mean, she plays all the minutes.
Yep.
And is probably, on the trajectory to be one of the best defensive midfielders in the world.
Sure seems that way.
It was confusing to me. I also didn't know, why was Croy Bethune looking to leave DC? They just re-signed Trinity Rodman. So there's a lot behind this. There is reporting that Croy Bethune was looking for a move. I think, I don't know why she was looking for a move, but she was. And there seems to be at least potential that the Current were going to lose Claire Hutton on a free after her contract ran out.
Right.
She was, my understanding is she was not interested in signing a new deal. What led to her not wanting to sign that new deal is up to speculation. I'm willing to speculate a little bit. She was pretty good friends with Alex Pfeiffer.
Yeah.
And that was not a really good situation about how the Current handled that. It's also, noteworthy that while the Current are certainly an ambitious club that is, and also put, facilities and capabilities and building up professional women's soccer, they are doing a lot of good things in that regard. They are also 100% cutthroat when it comes to doing whatever they want to do to try whatever they think is the next thing that's going to make them win. They will 100% do it and not think twice about you in the process. So I can understand why Claire wouldn't necessarily be interested in helping them out, because they would certainly cut her loose if it was a win for them in some way. So, and I don't, when I say that, I'm not trying to point a finger at anybody in that regard, but I think it's noteworthy that a 20-year-old kid sort of sees that.
Sure.
And I don't know why Bay FC is spending $1.1 million to rent her for a year, because it sounds pretty clear that she's not signing a new deal in NWSL and wants to go to Europe.
Sure.
And so, which is her prerogative. Like, I don't have an issue with that. And good on the Current, I guess, for getting value out of her at that if that is the case.
Yeah.
But it's
it sucks.
It's a bummer.
Yeah.
It's just a bummer. She was our favorite player on the team. Like, we both, we all love Temwa, but you and I are noted central midfield enjoyers and have waxed poetically about her play several times on this podcast. So it is definitely a bummer to see her go. And I do really have like high hopes for her. The good news is I think she's going to play for the U.S. women's national team regularly.
Yeah.
So, we'll be able to watch her do that. And please, God, Claire, do not sign for Arsenal. Please don't do it to me. Don't do it to me. I can tolerate Chelsea. Do not do Arsenal. Please, for the love of God. Ideally, you go see your buddy Lily at Lyon and just do that midfield there.
Well, that's who she should sign for. Is she should push for that move, and so the two of them can just build that sort of dynamic midfield, and that
just go straight from the Lyon. Even the colors. It's red, white, and blue for
Let's
Lyon.
do it.
Like, just
that sounds
go
good.
right back into the U.S. Women's National Team kit. And just keep balling out for the next 10 years.
That's our silver lining.
Fine with that.
I'm fine with that. We're gonna hope for that.
Yeah. Just please, Claire, don't sign for Arsenal. Just don't do it. Anyway, I think the writing is sort of on the wall then that she's going to be leaving the league at the end of her contract, and I get it from the Current's perspective why they would want to try to maximize that if they don't think they can re-sign her. So,
yep.
Cool, I guess.
That's just playing the game. Like, that's how it works, right?
Of course. But I also think it's a creation of their own kind.
Sure,
right?
To an extent, absolutely.
Yeah.
They didn't create an environment that fostered an attitude of her wanting to stay, for sure,
or of any kind of loyalty to them. Right.
Yep.
Because it's not as if they've been loyal to anyone that works for them.
Certainly not.
So I think that that when that's where you stand, it makes those decisions fairly easy.
It does.
And good for her. Well, I did sort of get after the NWSL on this podcast about not doing a good job of making the league a place of choice for people, and Europe's European, or at least big clubs in Europe, sort of circumventing them in that, or getting beyond their level of pull. And but I also think it's an individual player's prerogative to go do the things that they want to do with their career as well.
Yep, get that money.
In the meantime, I think the front five looks pretty good for the Current once Cooper and Temwa come off of the injury list, but the midfield's looking a little sparse.
Yep.
I love Lowe, but she's not getting any younger either, and she can't do all that shit herself.
Yep.
So I'll be interested to see how they handle that. I'm certainly not banking on Chris Armas being great at figuring that part out.
He has not shown propensity to that thus far, that's for sure.
So we'll have to stay tuned to this channel. We'll let you know how it goes. In the meantime, hopefully by next week we're talking about official signings and people can stop talking. We can stop talking about rumors.
Let's go! I'm so excited.
And, I don't know what we're going to talk about if they're just signing the same guys we just talked about this week, but I'm sure we'll figure it out. We've been 2 hours already on this one, so that we never struggle to come up with ways to talk about this team. And so until next week, I'm Drew. He's Cody. We will talk to y'all soon.
Bye-bye.
Start doing it.